What are some of the main activities that a B2B person needs to do in order to be successful that we might not see as many people doing in the B2C space?
I think the biggest difference is the proactive outreach. I think it's the bit that scares people. When you say proactive outreach, everyone thinks cold calling. And don't get me wrong, like you can cold call if you want to. Most people do not. I do it for fun. Sometimes I will literally go into client spaces with the sports teams that I work with, and I'll just do it for a laugh because I enjoy the adrenaline. But when we talk about proactive outreach, essentially what we're talking about is qualified lead generation. And that just means targeting the right stakeholders who are going to A, be interested and responsible for your area of specialism at the organisation they're working for, and B, have the budget to pay you. And however you choose to do that is fine. You can do it through LinkedIn, you can do it through cold email outreach, you can even do more interesting things like speaking for leads at corporate conferences or going to networking events or hosting your own executive roundtable. But I think that we almost forget that if we're operating a B2C business, we're doing lead generation all the time, but we're thinking about it like a funnel. I know that you'll all be listening to this being like, okay, we've been in the online marketing while, we know what funnel is. But essentially with a funnel, we're talking about a triangle that's upside down, aren't we? And what happens is we're supposed to get as much volume in the top as we can. We're supposed to get as many people in the top of our funnel as we can. And the hope is that through our content over time, we'll whittle them down into buyers. So that tiny point of the triangle at the bottom is your buyers. And for me, that's always felt a little bit pointless, a little bit, I'm lazy, so it's not the quickest way to get to the goal, right? And for me, spending thousands of pounds on Facebook ads to get this volume of potentially unqualified leads in at the top, and then create podcast episodes, newsletters, launches, free webinars, all the stuff that we do to hope that a tiny percentage of those people will buy, seemed like a lot of time, energy, and money spent to do something where I was going to make 5 times less. If we think about B2B in the same way, what we actually do is we flip the triangle. So that tiny point of the triangle that was previously buyers from a B2C funnel is actually the stakeholders or decision makers in companies that we target. We make a list of the job titles. We make a list of 3 to 5 people in each organisation that we think, they are going to be either responsible or interested in our area of specialism, and they're probably going to manage a budget. And we proactively target them with one method of lead generation. And what that means is that over time, your kind of triangle fills out with business development activities like keeping in touch, following up, having sales calls, and then it goes down into sales, which gives you a bigger percentage of people that are buying because they're all targeted. And then it goes down again a step into referrals because they're it's not like the B2C world. They like to refer things and you get more sales. And then eventually it goes into people who've left the original company you've targeted. They move somewhere else in the same industry because that's what we do when we're employed. We go to the same kinds of companies and we make sales there and we continue with referrals. So actually, what's interesting for me is that we can create this whole essentially upside down funnel that makes our sales activity much easier over time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if I understand this correctly, like you're basically, there's the expression of spaghetti on the wall. I don't think I like the expression, but we're going to use it anyway, which is like, throw out some stuff and see what sticks, right? So it's just like, I'm going to do this content, that content, just see like if it resonates with someone, maybe I'll get the attention of a few. And then once a few actually comes down the pipeline through the email, through the webinars, all these things that we do in online marketing or direct sales online, then eventually you'll be in a conversation with someone who's qualified. If I understand this correctly, being a reverse funnel is you get so specific and you target someone that's such a valuable person that you're like, that would be a deal worthwhile. And then you expand. So it's not like a funnel, but it's more like building a web of contacts, which can lead to supporting sales, referral sales, actually helping you close your initial plan. And so you're kind of building that ecosystem and nurturing a lot of relationship. I feel like this would appeal to a lot of people who might self-identify as more introvert because you're focused on a lot less noisiness and kind of this energy that you need to put out by always being like, hi, everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel.
Yes. And by the way, I've been there. I've done the Facebook Lives for a year and been like, oh my God. And as an introvert, if we look at the traditional definition of introvert as being somebody who does not recharge their energy by being around people and finds it draining, then yes, 100%. Because you build those more in-depth relationships where you actually know the stakeholder well and where you can become a consultative sales partner because you're talking about what matters to them, what their problems are, why they have fixed something or haven't fixed something, and what that's going to look like moving forward. Whereas people who are potentially more extroverted or who, if you have done wealth dynamics, maybe you identify as a star personality, they like to broadcast. And they like people to react, so they're more content driven. They're able to produce reams and reams of content and be okay with people reacting to it, and they've got the energy to do that, and it recharges them. Introverts, not so much. We don't do small talk well, and it's much easier to have a good relationship with 100 stakeholders who are clear decision makers who are qualified than it is to build a relationship with multiple thousands of people in order to build and influence a brand.
That's very interesting, especially with the fact that, if you're doing a lot of B2C sales, sometimes you have sales calls with people that could be actually quite draining to have conversations with. Like, it could be people that are really just wanting to have you listen to them. And, you're trying to offer as much support as possible, but you might be investing, 30 minutes, 1 hour for it not to lead to any kind of activity, and also not leading to any significant kind of asset building, because you speak to the lead. It's not going to be something that becomes a node within your network that could potentially open more business. As much as I would see every single conversation in B2B, you never know where it can connect the dots to something more relevant. So it seems efficient